Hello, lovely people, wonderful friends, family out there. It's another Saturday afternoon, and we're here on the BWTV and channel. We want to say thank you very much and welcome to the community and the law. My name is Ulriko Frimpon, and this afternoon I have a very important discussion to help us go into, and that's going to be about who you are. Are you a British national and a national of another country? What do the laws say? Now, this afternoon I'm going to concentrate as Ghanaian and as the Ghanaian laws say. And with us will be one very special guest from BWF Solicitors, our proud sponsors. We're talking BWF Solicitors are community partners when it comes to the law. So reliable, so good. And of course, if it is that you work with BWF solicitors, you are assured of 99.9% success when you deal with them when it comes to the law, immigration issues, family issues, property issues, and all the other bits. And these days, they also concentrate on probate and wills. And of course, if you are with BWF solicitors, I can assure you that you are with the right organization. The community and the law is next.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws, there are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us, speak to us, let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Yes, welcome to the community and law. Very first Saturday of the month of July 2023. And we're so glad that we have gone through half of the year 2023, and the next half is going to be something real wonderful and good for us. As long as we have BWF solicitors as our partners, we don't have anything to be worried about when it comes to legal matters. This afternoon, as they always help us, we are on the community and the law. And I have the honor and the privilege of introducing our guest before I even go on to the topic we're going to look at. He is the main brain behind BWF Solicitors, a senior partner of BWF Solicitors with over 30 years of legal practice behind him here in the UK, having helped the community so very well. We are having as our guest this afternoon, Mr. Bennard Owusu, Uncle Ben as we call him, the senior partner of BWF Solicitors. Uncle Ben, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kwaku.
It's been a while. I know there's things going on around social media, and when you say it's been a while, people are like, well, are you behaving like the woman? But I haven't had a chance to be with you on the program since early April. But, well, we thank God we're back here. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing absolutely fine, and I'm sure you're also doing well. My greetings to our compatriots, our followers, our brothers and sisters in the community, and our utmost thanks goes to God. Once we're up and talking, it means we are alive, and we're grateful for the many miracles of God that has brought us this far.
That's right. Well, folks, as I said, I have introduced the senior partner of the WF Solicitors, our sponsors, and he here this afternoon to let us into one of the very controversial topics when it comes to nationality matters. Dual nationality. Who is a dual national? Here in the UK, and we're going to look at the case of Ghana. Who is a dual national or who is a dual Ghanaian national, either a national of the United Kingdom or and Ghana? And what are some of the implications? Quite recently, there have been issues. One former member of parliament who, until recently, is also won again to go back into parliament, was disqualified. Everything he did in parliament was expunged from their books and records because at the time that he was filing to become a member of parliament, he was a dual national. Dual nationality. Why is it so controversial? Why is it that countries that practice dual nationality or believe in dual nationality or even allow dual nationality do not allow certain people to hold certain positions? We'll be looking at that. And, Uncle Ben practices in the UK, practices in Ghana as well, so he knows both regimes very well. So we're so grateful and privileged to be having him around. So we won't be going to that. But before then, I would want us to learn a few things. These days, the cost of living has gone up. Things have gone up. Inflation has gone up a bit here in the UK, and rent, of course, and accommodation prices have also gone up. How many times can my landlord increase my rent? Let's look at what it says. Can my landlord increase my rent? For a periodic tenancy rolling over by week or month basis, your landlord cannot normally increase the rent more than once a year without your agreement. For a fixed term tenancy running for a set period, the law says your landlord can only increase the rent if you agree. If you do not agree, the rent can only be increased when the fixed term ends. If you and your landlord cannot agree, you could ask a tribunal to decide and can set a new rent for your tenancy. With Uncle Ben around, I don't think I need to try to give any further explanation. Uncle Ben, the question is, can my landlord increase my rent?
Well, the answer is yes, he can. But as to whether the rent increase can take effect, that's another question. The law prescribes, obviously, avenues for challenge if the landlord attempts to increase the rent without due process and due course to law. So, first of all, to understand what the landlord's rights, obligations, the tenant's rights and obligations are, you have to look at what are the requirements in law.
Mm-hmm.
The two main types of law, tenancy and private rentals. There's what we call the fixed term tenancy, and then there's periodic tenancy. The periodic is divided into two: the statutory periodic and the contractual periodic. Those requirements for increasing rent must follow due process. It may
Right.
be that it's set out in contract, which is a tenancy agreement, or is by agreement between the parties, either verbally or in writing.
Okay. So, Uncle Ben, say I go into somebody's accommodation and he gives me a tenancy agreement for 12 months. Now, after the 12th month, we do not have to write a new one, but rather it goes on like that. Would that come under this criteria and description? We looking at something that rolls over, and if the landlord wants to increase the rent in that situation, can I challenge?
Yes, you can challenge him. The situation you've eloquently described is what we call the statutory periodic tenancy.
Okay.
It's creation of law, not by contract. So if you rent a place and it's a fixed term, that's 6 months or 1 year, and at the expiration of the fixed term, it's not renewed,
Mhm.
then the law will take effect. It becomes what we call a statutory periodic tenancy. What that means is that the tenancy will either go from week to week or from month to month. The landlord can only increase the rent if you agree to it. If he still wants to increase it without your agreement, then he will need to file what we call a Section 13 notice, which is Section 13 of the Housing Act. And you also have a right to challenge it. And then the tribunal will have a right under Section 14 to also make a determination on the challenge.
Right. Then finally, if the landlord says, I want to increase it by 10%, and you can't afford, is there room for negotiation?
Yes, so the advice that I always give people is as with everything in law and in dispute, you always have to negotiate. So if the landlord says that I want to increase your rent from 1,350 to maybe 1,400, and you say, well, I can only afford what I can pay now, because not only am I also paying the rent, I'm paying council tax. I'm also paying utilities, which obviously has gone up. So that's the only thing I can afford. You negotiate. And I know that some landlords do bully. I also know that some tenants do not know their rights.
Mhm.
And that once they're bullied, they want their peace of mind. So they just cave in or accept the landlord's proposal. The problem with those things is that once you pay, even once, it means that you have accepted an increase. And if that is the case, unfortunately, you will not be able to challenge it at a tribunal. So my advice to everyone is that if the landlord proposes to increase, he knows what the law is. He cannot bully you because that would be a breach of his contractual obligation. It may even amount to a criminal offense if your landlord bullies you. You negotiate. If negotiation doesn't work, you use a tribunal system. Once he's followed the law, you also follow the law and file it with a tribunal. The tribunal will make a determination.
Right. So obviously, if you are in a tenancy like that and your landlord wants to arbitrarily increase your rent, you can challenge it. You can also go for negotiations and make sure that your rights and your affordability is kind of guaranteed. For periodic tenancy rolling over week by week or month by month, your landlord cannot normally increase the rent more than once a year without your agreement. And that's the bit that Uncle Ben has graciously explained. And with that, I want to say thank you very much to BWF Solicitors. They are located at 214218 Tottenham High Road, London N154NP. They are on the high road, as I mentioned earlier on. If you're going by public transport, you go on the Victoria line, get off at 7 Sisters, use exit number 2. Exit number 2 will bring you to the frontage of the building known as the Anna House. BWF Solicitors is on the 4th floor. They operate Monday to Friday between 9:30 in the morning and 6 p.m. in the evening. Call them 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. Now, when it comes to any application, when it comes to immigration matters, when it comes to family, marriage and divorce, and all the other bits, your wills and probate, and of course, applications for the care worker route and the specialist skills that are being allowed here in the UK. At SBWF Solicitors that does it and tells you everything there is in there so you don't fall foul of the law. BWF Solicitors is going to help us in the discussion, and we want to say thank you to them. Find their message, and when we're back, we'll talk about that.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
No, I was doing the internet. My volume is.
Okay,
Okay,
you
we
can
should
please
be
stay with
with
us.
my
I know
myself
what
and my
was
business, right?
we're
We're
moving on
moving on
into
into
it's the 1st of July. Thank you very much, everybody, for staying with us all throughout the year. Now, this afternoon, we are looking at the topic how to successfully renounce your British citizenship and convert to settlement visa. We're going to focus on Ghana's dual nationality laws and his relation to public office. Again, once again, good afternoon. Let me first of all ask that if we say somebody is a dual national, technically what are we talking about?
Well, if you say someone is a dual national, that means the person has got more than one nationality. The word dual depicts something which is more than one. It may be multiple, but dual itself means two, but it can be more than two. So when we say someone has dual nationality, it means the person has two, three, or more nationalities. But if we take a Ghanaian, for example, um, most Ghanaians who are British citizens in the UK will also have Ghanaian citizenship. Um, Even our children who have been born in the UK, although they have not actively acquired Ghanaian citizenship or passport, they will be termed as Ghanaians because Article 8 of our Constitution and also the Nationality, the Citizenship Act clearly states that a Ghanaian is anyone who is born in Ghana or elsewhere whose parents are Ghanaians or grandparents are Ghanaians. So dual nationality, um, it's a position in one's life where, like us who've migrated to the United Kingdom, we have acquired UK citizenship in addition to our Ghanaian citizenship. So dual nationality simply means that somebody who has more than one nationality.
States that. Underneath it, and then we have that there's some exceptions to what a dual national can do. I'll be coming to that. But then we look at somebody who holds a British nationality and holds a Ghanaian nationality as well. Does it mean that when somebody holds a British nationality, that person must have indefinite leave to remain or should hold a British passport? Do the two go together?
Well, if you have a British citizenship, it doesn't necessarily follow that you hold a British passport. There are many British nationals who only use Ghanaian's passport because when you have a British citizenship under the 1971 Act, the British citizenship gives you what we call a right of abode. That right of abode is inherent to your British citizenship. It is not a passport that confers citizenship on you. It's an act of registration or act of birth because you may acquire it through descent or otherwise done by descent. So the fact that you don't hold a British passport does not necessarily follow that you're not a British citizen. So the argument will then be that so if I don't have a British passport, uh, can I contest for a public position or even under Section 90, sorry, Article 94 of the Ghanaian constitution can I contest as an MP? Well, the act of citizenship or nationality is either acquired through birth or through law by acquisition, either registration or naturalization. Either process obviously confers a right on you, and that right is what they're saying that conflicts with someone who is of a different nationality, occupying certain positions in Ghana. If we remember the case of Asari versus the Attorney General, some of those restrictions were peeled off, but the bulk of the restrictions still remain positions like Attorney General, Chief Justice, Commissioner of Customs, Director General of Prisons, Police, GIP, Member of Parliament, President, Vice President, and certain specific positions which are prescribed in law. You cannot take those positions. Also, in certain areas of acquisition of business, the Ghanaian law prescribes the procedure for people who are not of Ghanaian descent to have other people, front for them, and those people usually may have the majority share, even in acquisition of property. If you're not a Ghanaian, the maximum period that you can acquire a lease in Ghana is about 50 years and no more than that. So these are questions and issues that we've been grappling with, and it's we haven't been able to crack it because I don't think there's appetite in the country. And I say this with someone who's gone round to see what we can have and what we can have for those in the diaspora. There's no appetite even among the citizens, and I can tell you as a fact that there is no appetite. Majority of Ghanaians, even majority of Ghanaians in the UK, do not want people with dual nationality to occupy certain positions in Ghana. I mean, my eye was open in 2019 when we came from the Homecoming Summit, and I had an engagement with the most seasoned journalists in our country at the High Commissioner's residence. And this were you call them. This was the topmost journalists. These are journalists that we came to meet, seasoned ones, and some politicians, and some Ghanaians in the UK. And we had a very spirited debate about the need for the diaspora, Ghanaians in the diaspora, to be allowed to stand for political positions and also serve their country through other means. And of course, there was no appetite for it. I didn't lose the argument, but I could tell that it was very difficult. And my brother, Bernard Owusu, commented that, Bernard, we don't give up. We always argue, even if the other person.
Sorry to interrupt. Let me ask this. What's the reasoning behind people who are dual nationals not being allowed to contest certain positions, like the Director of Immigration, the President, Vice President, Member of Parliament? They contribute, and if they owe allegiance to two countries, obviously they would hold the oath of secrecy and everything. So why don't they allow that? Why is the law just couched like that?
Kweku, I think we've not been able to differentiate between people acquiring other nationalities because of migration
Right.
and those who are of that country's origin. So, I, for one, I'm British. I'm also Ghanaian, but I acquired my British citizenship, one, because of the work I do, and two, to make my travel around the world easy. Those are the reasons. So it might be economic. It might also be for reasons of convenience. Now, even in UK, those of us who come from other countries are still seen as foreigners, and we are viewed with a lot of suspicion. And the fact is that if our adopted countries or our host countries view us with suspicion, and then our home countries also view us with suspicion.
Suspicion, yes.
Then it becomes,
It makes your situation very difficult.
and the legal position that has been explained about allegiance is not something that I find convincing. The Supreme Court, particularly the Taban, for example, in the case of Asare versus Attorney General, um, gave a very long decision, although our former Chief Justice, Sophia Ekufu, was the only dissenting view in that case. Um, Most people will tell you that the issue is to do with allegiance. Now, I don't know why somebody will doubt my allegiance. And there are many things that I cannot say in public, in the public environment. But with the role that I play in the community, I've come across a lot of information, and I think that we are equally as patriotic as
Yeah,
those
obviously, yeah.
have Ghanaian citizenship. Some
People who hold dual nationalities probably are even more patriotic than people living in a country and holding one nationality. You got your investments, you got your family, you are well interested in the politics of the country, governance, your local environment, you contribute, and people are more like assemblymen, as Ghanaians would put it. So if you doubt the person's nationality, then it makes the person quite precarious. But that's the law. Um, is there any way around it?
well, I mean, as a lawyer, I deal with a lot of renunciation. Every 4 year cycle, I do renunciation for at least about 20 to 30 people who are looking to go to Ghana to play roles. I work out across all the political divide. You know, I guard what I do because I work for my role as a lawyer requires me to exercise the utmost confidentiality in what I
Yes,
do.
I do.
As we speak now, let me give you a real example of the problems that the people in the diaspora are going through.
Mm-hmm.
As I sit here, I've got to look at my email almost every hour because there's a person that I have renounced his British citizenship. He wants to go and play a, a role in our public life in Ghana. He's lost his British citizenship. This person has been here for 25 years. He runs businesses here. He's got family here. I've renounced his British citizenship. He's now waiting to get his settlement to enable him go. But he's told me he will go. Whether the settlement comes or not within the next couple of weeks, he's going to go. Because he needs to get involved in the public life now because there's a time period that he needs to file his nominations and other things. And these are the real difficulty that we
Right.
find.
Yeah.
Now, this person is invested more in Ghana than majority Ghanaians. And I'm sure most of us have. I know sometimes there is the issue of entitlement. Those who come from the diaspora are viewed with suspicion. And also, some of us have not made this journey easy because of our of our spirit of entitlement. So we go and we look down upon those that have held the country together. And I've always spoken against that. That when you go back to Ghana, the fact that you've had the opportunity to acquire certain experiences in the UK, possibly, become a bit comfortable than most people in Ghana, doesn't mean that you're better off than them. And those are some of the divides that we need to work on. I'm aware that there's a private members bill by the member of parliament for Atimachim Swedru. He's been in parliament for close to 2 years now. And this is a bill that has been put together by a coalition of Ghanaian nationals living outside. It's in parliament as a private members bill. And I raised it on a platform. And somebody said, but Ghana, there's no private members bill. And I said, of course there is. because the anti-gay bill that is almost gone through the full rigor of debate in Parliament is a private member's bill. So I would have expected the same vigor, spirited defense of the bill on anti-gay to be applied to the bill on dual nationals taking public positions. But as I've told you, there's no appetite. I can tell you as a fact that there's no appetite, not only in Parliament, but
Mm.
majority of Ghanaians do not want people, Ghanaians who live in the diaspora, to come and take public positions in Ghana.
Well, that's another conversation for another time. But let's look at a person who is a dual national. Um, he wants to go into public life in Ghana, so then he renounces the British citizenship. Let's look at how it is done and successfully done. Do I lose anything and any privileges, or as our topic says, how can you renounce it and come into the position where you are fully settled in the UK? So when I renounce, what do I lose already?
So I'll take it from the other angle. When you acquire British citizenship as a Ghanaian,
Hmm.
right, it means that you were coming from a position of settlement. So
Right.
you had indefinite leave to remain or permanent residence. I know a few years ago we were getting British citizenship for EU family members who didn't have settlement endorsed in their passport because the acquisition of permanent residence was deemed to have been acquired once you've done the 5 years. But most people now will have acquired indefinite leave to remain. So when you jump from indefinite leave to remain, you're jumping from the immigration rules into the nationality rules.
Hmm.
Now that's an upgrade of your status in the UK. So
Right.
the upgrade starts from when you put in the application. One of the application's requirement is that you do not have a time limit on your residency in the UK.
Okay.
Once your nationality application is approved, you will receive two letters. One is to say that it's been approved, and that once you acquire your certificate, you must return your biometric card for it to be cancelled. The other one is to go for a ceremony, and you are invited by the local authority or the council. Once you've upgraded from immigration rules to the Nationality Act, you are no longer subject to the immigration rules.
Yeah.
So when you acquire your British citizenship, you jump from someone who has indefinite leave to someone who's got a right of abode. Therefore, you do not have limited leave to remain or indefinite leave to remain. That is lost. Will say that is giving up because you lost that to acquire something which is more prestigious and has more in weight. Now, when you lose that British citizenship, there's no anchor. There's no anchor. So when you renounce your British citizenship
Hmm.
and this renunciation certificate is signed, because the renunciation certificate is the form that you complete. It's the same form that the Secretary of State will stamp and sign. Once that act takes place, you are you are without citizen, you are without residence in the UK. So you don't have anything in the UK. If you
Yeah.
leave at that point, you're not coming back. And if
Oh,
you stay at that point, you will become an illegal immigrant.
that's right.
And you see, these are some of the nuances that I would have wanted our members of parliament to take evidence and on to see the problems that those who are coming to serve, because these people are going to serve, they
Hmm.
are not going to lord it over people. Although I know our views of some politicians are such that they go in to enrich themselves. But people that are going back mostly say that they want to go and serve it as MPs or directors or um, in some form or capacity. That is the problem. Those are the sacrifices that those people are making. And it may be that even with all the expenses and the act of renunciation, it may also be that they go and they are not successful. If we take our brother who is being called um, and is deceased, our brother Abu Sekande, this is a man who lived in the UK. This is a man who willingly went to Ghana to contest. And his case is rather one of those sad cases. I don't like talking about it because I was involved at a professional level, trying to redeem a little that he can redeem in relation to an act or a negligent act by a so called legal representative who had provided him with a fake renunciation certificate. And this person told him that your renunciation has gone through. And he took this so called renunciation certificate to Ghana and filed it. And obviously, we know what happened. He was convicted in 2015, I think, 14 or 15. He went to prison. He fell ill in prison. And when he was given a parole, obviously, we lost him. Same applies to our older brother Quason, Jachi Quason, who is going through and now going through criminal prosecution for the simple fact that when he filed his renunciation in Canada, this was during the COVID time, and therefore at the time my understanding was that the Canadian immigration were not working, so his renunciation certificate was not approved. He then went to contest. The electoral commissioner accepted that he can contest. He contested. We know what has happened since. He lost his seat. He went back to fight it. He got it back because most Ghanaians are fair-minded people. So they gave him back his seat. He's now back in parliament, but he's facing criminal prosecution. And with the weight of evidence that I see against him, it's very likely that he will be convicted. It may be that he might not go to prison, but it's very likely that he will be convicted. Now, these are the issues that we face. And I have heard some political actors say that when they come, they will redefine who a dual national is. Now, this is what I say to all those people. As we speak now, there's a bill in Parliament. Parliament on both sides are equal. So instead of using those things for political campaign and political capital, if they are really determined and have the intention to ensure that we in the diaspora can play our role in Ghana,
Yeah.
there's a private members bill which is oven ready. It's well drafted. I can tell you because I've read it. It's well drafted. It's tested. It's been approved by almost all of us in the diaspora. We support it. It's been in Parliament for almost 2 years now. It's waiting. It's at a constitutional committee. So any person who says that when I come to power, I will redefine what a dual nationality is, I will say to the person that you're not a genuine person. There's already a private.
There's already something there for you to work with.
Let's whip our members in Parliament to say, listen, I know the president has said that he wants people to contest, but let's see their sincerity. Let them whip those people in Parliament and say, go and debate this bill, approve it, bring it to me. I'm the president. I will sign it. I want to hear from the other side as well. Jomama, who's leading the other side, to say, my MPs in Parliament, I'm your party leader now because I'm the candidate. I want you all to go and approve this private members bill, which has been there for over 2 years, which was introduced by the Member of Parliament for Akim Swedru, who's an MPP member. Let's work together across party. Let's approve this bill so that the unfortunate event of prosecuting our people whom we've lived in the diaspora, who've gone back to serve, will stop. We can stop it by asking our leaders to show deed instead of words. And for me, I'm very passionate about some of these issues. You remember in 2017 Homecoming Summit, I made a spirited argument on this in public. I think the president was sitting there. And I said that it's been a long time that those of us outside have been denied playing our proper role in Ghanaian public life. Not politics per se, but in public life.
Right. Argument, let's look at the dual national here in the UK. And as our topic says, we want to renounce the British citizenship and convert to settlement. How is that done? Is it even possible at all?
The question again, I think I lost you there.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, if somebody renounces their British citizenship, can they convert to settlement? Can they convert their nationality to settlement rather than losing it altogether?
Yes. So if you want to apply for settlement, there are means of going about it. But somebody who's held British nationality, the first thing I want to look at is has the person lived in the UK lawfully for 10 years. So if we put on the screen what the
Mhm.
meaning of lawful residence is. So you will see that lawful residence is defined. The other one, so you will see that lawful residence is defined as, yes, so you've got a lawful residence is defined under paragraph 276A of the immigration rules as a period of continuous residence in which the applicant had one of the following. He had an existing leave to enter or remain, except this cannot include an entry clearance or permission to enter. It also covers people who are exempt under the immigration rules. So British citizens are exempt. Now, when you go to whether people who've held British passport, whether their residence in UK will count as lawful residence. Again, when you go to the long residence guidance notes, you will see that once an applicant has built up a period of 10 years, continuous lawful resident, there's no limit on the length of time that he can stay. So once you've done 10 years in the UK lawfully, if whether or not through your British citizenship or a combination of indefinite leave or a combination of limited leave, indefinite leave, and British citizenship, any period after you can make the application, but I want to see the one under British citizenship. So anyone who is held a British citizenship, they are deemed to have lived in the UK lawfully under the British citizenship. And therefore, anyone who's got a British passport, time spent in the UK as a British citizen will usually count as lawful residence. Now, there are some caveats. For example, you shouldn't have lived away for more than 6 months in one particular year. And over the last 10 years, you shouldn't have lived away for about 593 days. Those are nuances that we can deal with. But this is how you can get your indefinite leave. However, it's not everyone who is renounced as British citizenship who can acquire indefinite leave to remain. Because we could bear in mind that
Mhm.
acquire British citizenship by an adult, there are two main routes for those who are naturalizing. One is by using what we call a Section 6.1, which is a 5-year route, or a Section 6.2, which is a 3-year route. So if I came here as a spouse
Right.
and I've done mine 2.5 years and 2.5 years, that is 5 years. I can acquire British citizenship once I get my indefinite leave. So as soon as I get my indefinite leave, let's say in the 6th year, I get my indefinite leave. Once I get my indefinite leave, I can acquire British citizenship under Section 6.2 of the British Nationality Act. Once that is acquired, I can then renounce that citizenship again if I've been offered a position in Ghana, either as a Director General of Customs or Director General of Prisons, or maybe I want to go and contest as an MP. But you see, the person hasn't been here lawfully for 10 years. So in that case, the person cannot use the paragraph 276A to get indefinite leave. It means that they will have to come and start all over again, either as a spouse or in some other form. And if the person is not a spouse, then the person's residence in the UK is gone. And this is reason why I say to people that before you renounce your British citizenship, it's better to speak to a lawyer, somebody who understands the law. Ideally, my preferable route would be for you to see a solicitor or a barrister with public access who will be able to advise you on the nuances of losing your British citizenship. Because losing your British citizenship comes with so many problems. It comes with so many problems and challenges. And it is therefore important that you speak to an expert who will be able to do this for you.
Now, for clarity, let me go to the 276A, long residence in the UK, and I would want to quote this for the purposes of paragraph 276B to 276D. Continuous residence means residence in the UK for an unbroken period, and for these purposes, a period shall not be considered to have been broken where an applicant is absent from the UK for a period of 6 months or less at any given time, provided the applicant in question has existing limited leave to enter or remain upon their departure and return. That to the ordinary person looks like a gray area. If I go in and out, I stay away for about 3, 4 months, come back in the rest of it. Am I going to have that accumulated to say that for that number of days I may have broken my residence?
Okay, so as you can see, the continuity of residence is broken by certain events. One is spending time outside. As you can see, absence of um, for a period of 6 months, that's 184 days at any one particular time, or a total of 18 months, that's 584 days outside the UK throughout the whole of the 10-year period. That is continuously in one particular time will break the continuity of residence. So there are two things that I want us to focus on. First of all, what we must focus on is that once you've lived here lawfully for 10 years, you can go and live outside, you know, that's nobody cares about that.
Okay.
When you come back, you can apply for indefinite leave under the 10-year lawful residence. Because the continuity of residence says that once you've acquired a lawful residence for 10 years, nothing will break it. But this is what breaks continuity of residence.
Mhm.
If you live outside within the 10 years, within the first 10 years, if you live outside for more than 6 months, that's 184 days. Or you live outside total one time of 18 months, that's 584 outside the UK throughout the whole of the 10-year period. Um, this was before 24th of November because 2016. The reason being that um, 2016 November, the law was that if you overstayed for up to 28 days, it wouldn't affect your continuity of residence. It doesn't break it. After November 2016, it's 14 days under paragraph 34 of the immigration rules. So these are things that will affect imprisonment, for example, will affect if you left the UK without particular intention of coming back or there was no reason for you to come back. We also know that visitor's visa does not count towards 10-year lawful residence. So there are nuances to it. But invariably, those who have lived here lawfully for 10 years, once they've acquired the 10 years, they don't lose that. If they go on to acquire the British citizenship, they don't lose their residence. And therefore, when they go and spend time of any length, they can always come back. Just remember that if you've got indefinite leave to remain, don't have to stay outside for more than 2 years if you acquired it through the immigration route. If you acquired it through the EU settlement route, then it's 5 years. Those are the nuances that is not readily available, and that's why I say people should speak to lawyers before they embark on that particular challenging journey.
We're speaking to one very competent and efficient and knowledgeable lawyer, and the advice is if you're not clear, listen, don't take the law into your own hands, don't take chances, speak to a competent person to explain these nuances to you so you don't fall foul of the law. If you just joined us, we're looking at the topic how to successfully renounce your British citizenship and convert to settlement visa. We're focusing on Ghana because there have been examples in Ghana where earlier on, if you were with us, Uncle Ben has Giving two examples, one unfortunately is passed on, another lost his seat. He's fortunately gotten it back, but still facing criminal charges. Why do we have to go through that when we have all intentions of serving the public, and because of our dual nationality status, we are not allowed to do that. And when we renounce your British citizenship, do you lose everything at all? There are situations where you can convert that into settlement, and then maybe you can have a chance of coming back. If it is that your intention of acquiring public service position is not successful, you can come back to that. And then, do the laws in Ghana look at and understand the situation you are taking us through? For instance, I go and show my renunciation certificate, and then um, I'm not successful, and I'm coming back. When I am applying, do I have to let them know that this is my situation? I'm coming to see if the public will allow me to serve them. If not, I'm going back. That bit, do I have to show it? It sounds like a naive question, but obviously, yeah, let's see if that's possibly something that could be done.
Okay, so for argument's sake, let's say you renounce your British citizenship in Ghana, because I do it for people who are also living in Ghana. So you renounce it in Ghana, you're not physically here. There are two things that, let's say you've gone to contest, you've lost, you spent so much money, you've lost, you didn't win the seat. You want to come back and continue with your
You
business.
continue, you're staying here in the UK, right?
And then you have to go to the British High Commission, unfortunately, to get some form of visa to come. Because a person, if they've lived here lawfully for 10 years and they've now gone to Ghana, I will be able to get them indefinite leave. They will get indefinite leave either from Ghana, or um, they can come here if they've got a spouse here, they can apply and come. The only thing I say is that it would take a while. So the application obviously will have to be looked at. For example, the case that I'm doing for three people now who are looking to go and contest as MPs, the Home Office have requested for the last 10 years passport. Because you know why they've requested for the last 10 years passport, right? They want to see how long they've been outside the UK, because of the break in continuity of residence. And so they will look at all those things. And if you're in Ghana, of course, they will ask for those evidence. That is why it might take a while for them to make a decision in your long residence application. Also, if you haven't lived here lawfully for 10 years, and the scenario that I gave in relation to someone who came as a spouse, got their British citizenship in the sixth year, and then the seventh year, they want to go and contest as an MP, and they want to renounce. Renunciation normally takes anything from 4 weeks to about 12 weeks. Once you receive the stamp certificate, it means that a renunciation has happened. This person lived here for 7 years. So, Kwaku, do you see the challenge the person will face? They
Yeah,
cannot come under paragraph 276A of the immigration rules
that's
because
right.
they lived here for 10 years. They are above 25. So they have to, if they want to come back on private residence basis, they have to show that they've lived here for 20 years. They haven't lived here for 10 years. So it means that they haven't lived here for 20 years.
Yes.
So the person, if they don't have a spouse here, or they don't have a child under 18 and they want to apply as a parent, then the chances of coming is almost zero. And that is why I always tell people that it seems that those people in charge of our laws are not aware of the challenges that our people face to renounce the citizenship. Because if you renounce it, you want to be able, because you've got family here, very likely you've got a business here, you may have a spouse here, and you've got a property or properties here. So someone who hasn't been here for 10 years, don't have a child who's under 18, does not have a spouse, that person obviously is giving up a lot. It means that they will have to start all over again. And then we look at the rules and see which one will be most appropriate route for them to come through. But Kweko, it's a very challenging situation.
It
And the
is.
scenario that we've given is basically that people who have lived here lawfully for 10 years can always apply for indefinite leave before they go and file their nomination and other things.
Well, would it be safe to say to somebody who's got indefinite leave to remain not to apply for citizenship if the person intends to go into public service in Ghana?
Well, Kwaku, the challenge is why people apply for British citizenship is mainly to do with travel, mainly to do with travel. So if you have indefinite leave in the UK and you want to go to France, you will need a visa.
Right.
If you want to go to Belgium, you need a visa. If you want to go to Republic of Ireland, you will get away with it because we share border with them. But anything else, you need a visa. For example, my daughter is in Ghana. She wants to go to Canada. Last night she called me. All she needed to do is I sent her a link to go on the ETA, ETA. That's a Canadian electronic travel authorization. And within 5 minutes, she's got her authorization. So she takes a British passport and then she goes to Canada. If somebody in Ghana wants to go, for example, if our brother Kwesi, if he hasn't got residency in Ghana, in Canada, he wants to go back to Canada, he needs to apply for a visa. And those are the problems that is why people upgrade their residency from indefinite leave to British citizenship. It's purely for travel purposes. I can tell you that 99.9% is not because, let me be careful what I say, it's not because they love one country more than the other. But it's because the British passport gives them more travel power than the Ghanaian passport.
Well, if you just joined us, the discussion is about renunciation of British passport or nationality, so to speak, and how you can convert that to settlement when things don't go your way. When you have gone to the other country, for instance, we're focusing on Ghana now. You've gone to Ghana to apply for a public position and you have not been successful. Are you able to come back? And Gwen is taking us to the section 276 and giving us the various scenarios and the caveats that you'd have to really undergo. The whole thing is a discussion that's based on some experiences our people have gone through in Ghana and people who would want to renounce their British citizenship in the name of going to public service, the challenges they face. I know you have such experience and you want to let us in on that. You can send us a text on 079208468, 07399208468, or WhatsApp on 07950422780. Or you can go down to the comment section below on Facebook and YouTube. We're live on BWTV, BW Radio, BWF Solicitors, both Facebook and YouTube and all the other social media platforms. So yes, remember you can text us on 0739920848 or send a WhatsApp message on 07950422780. And maybe to some extent, I'll see if I can pick up some calls. The number to call 0739920848. We have as our guest and our resource person, the senior partner of BWF Solicitors, Uncle Ben, who has over 30 years of great experience and practice behind him here in the UK. And if he says he knows the law, he knows it inside out. And he's telling us that at least if you don't know anything, if you don't know anything at all, and you don't have to have anything at all in your pockets this afternoon, remember that if you don't understand, consult a lawyer. And I want you to consult BWF Solicitors 214-218 Tottenham High Road, Seven Sisters, North London, 0208-493-7340, or the emergency mobile number 077-127-61884. We'll be right back after this message.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws, there are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Okay, so now we're back on. Thank you very much for joining us. We have tried to get somebody on the line as well. 073-992-0848. Hello. Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is
Hold on one second. Uncle Ben, can you hear him?
I can hear him a bit. Can you crank up the volume?
Okay. Please go ahead and let's see how it goes.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So fire your question. Uncle Ben is listening.
Please, my question today is not pertaining to the topic we are discussing today. Is it allowed?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. What my first question is, does any of the care homes who have the permission to operate as a care home here in the UK have the right to obtain COS for people to work with them? Is it like that, or it's not all the care homes or the care agencies that have the power to get COS and get people here from outside the country? But that is my first question.
Okay. Just put the phone on and listen through your computer or TV first. Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I know it was a bit patchy, but I'm glad if we can try another.
Yes, I had him. So the question was, do all care homes have the right to employ migrants? That is the gist of the question. And the answer is no, it's not all of them. So, for example, for someone to be able to employ a migrant to work for them and to be able to issue what we call a COS or a DCOS. A COS is what we call certificate of sponsorship. A DCOS is a defined certificate of sponsorship. DCOS is for people coming from outside. COS is for people who are here. The person will need to make an application to the UK VI or BA for them to get a license. They need a sponsorship license. And once they've got a sponsorship license, they will be able to employ people. So it's not all care homes. If you want to know which care homes have the license, you can go on the Home Office website and say sponsorship list for care homes. It's a long list, and you need to really take your time and go through. But also, if you speak to people in the community, I think if you speak to Manyeti, I know she has publicly put across that there are people that she knows that she can refer you to them. So you can call Manyeti and she will be able to refer you to those who have the license.
Okay. Later on, I'll put my AT's number on so people can contact her for that. There's a question on the platform. Somebody, Ade Munukum, is asking that do you think it's wise to renounce your British citizenships to become a politician in Ghana?
Well, so everyone who approaches me to assist them to renounce their British citizenship, I take them through a period of counseling. I'm happy to say that the last one that I did, he came to me, we sat down, I asked for the reasons why he wants to renounce. I know his wife very well, so I said, go and seek permission from your wife. He went away for a couple of weeks. He came back. He said, my wife said I can do it. I said, I want to speak to your wife. I called the wife. I spoke to her, and she said, Uncle Ben, I'm happy for him to renounce it. So those are some of the counseling that I go through. What we do, we also give a pack, and the pack will show your journey from renunciation to acquiring another form of legal residence. The time, obviously, is very, very key because the time might not be favorable. And as you know, if you apply for long residence, it can take as long as 6 months, possibly a year, before you can get a decision. And if you're working with time in relation to filing your nomination, or maybe your country's called you to come and be a Director General of Customs, or sorry, Commissioner of Customs or Director General of Prisons, your country is not going to wait for you for a year to sort yourself out. I mean, the renunciation process itself doesn't take too long. My experience is that on average it takes about 3 months. So that can be done within 3 months. But the things after, I mean, you can leave, you can go, and then we will take care of the other part. That's also possible. Because as I've always said, once you've acquired your 10-year lawful residence, apart from absence, imprisonment, and certain other things, nothing will break it.
Maybe something just crossed my mind. I I hold a British passport. My spouse holds a British passport, and I renounce mine. I go to contest for a public position in Ghana. If I'm not successful, even though I may have lost my right to my British citizenship again, I can come back to the UK through my spouse, can't
Well,
I?
Kweku, unfortunately, some people who go through the challenge and the cost of renouncing their citizenship and acquiring settlement or other form of lawful residence,
Mm.
some of them go and are not successful. Some of them go and take up positions. I know one who took position for 3 months and his party lost power. So, so he had to come back. And I mean, it's a Kweku is a very difficult thing. It's not everyone who would do it. I mean, I always
Yeah.
ask myself. I really admire people who do that. I'll be frank with you. I mean, of course, I won't do it. I'm not interested in frontline politics. It's not something that is my cup of tea. So people who do it, I really admire them. And for me, all I can say is that I will have to support them with the best advice, because I remember in 2014, and I don't like saying this because sometimes it makes me emotional. I was approached by the state to offer opinion in relation to a prosecution of a person who is alleged to have another nationality. I worked with Ghana High Commission. I offered my opinion through Ghana High Commission, the head of, I think that is what I would say at this stage. So I offered my opinion. Obviously, whatever I said, I'm not sure how it affected the prosecution, but clearly, um, people have gone through stuff. And when you're facing prosecution in Ghana, especially if you're arrested and detained, it's not a pretty thing, not pretty at all. So, all those people offering themselves for public service, and I see it as public service, although some people will disagree, there are people that we should applaud and support them. So if somebody is living here to go and contest for political position, the support that I give them, and I've worked with across party lines, is basically to offer them my legal mind, and then they can dwell on it. Because when it goes wrong, it really goes wrong.
Mm.
When we finish this program, I'll tell you the so-called lawyer who messed up Abu Sakande, who went to prison. I mean, you can find it online. It's online. And this person was supposed to be a lawyer, and he gave the wrong advice, and that's what landed him in prison, and unfortunately may have contributed to his untimely death. And for me, it's always important that when you're taking such challenging journeys, it's always good to have the best advice with you, and that I will always offer.
07399208468. We have somebody on the line. Let's try and see if we can get something clear out of that. Hello? Hello? Okay. I think we lost the person. So we move on and see if we can get somebody back on here. 07399208468. We've been looking at renunciation of British citizenship, and we have been talking to the senior partner of BWF Solicitors and Copen, who's been helping us to do the discussion. 07399208468. Well, a lot of calls are coming through at the moment. Let's see which one we have. And well, moving on. You can send your chat to the platform, and we'll pick that one up. I think we've got somebody who's stuck on here. Sorry if you calling through the Skype number. Stop that. Just call through the normal line. Uncle, then let's take a break, and I'll come back so we'll fix the line and get Uncle Ben to address some of the issues for us. Let's take a break now.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London. N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Okay, we're right back. Thank you very much for your patience. And then I think we will try and see if we can get through some of our calls. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rakweku.
How are you?
I'm fine. Make a queue.
I can see now on the line. But I'm committed to.
In fact, your friend, we are John. Now, I'm person this Uncle Ben question. The question be actually Miss Kakran and person be sound.
Matter with you.
In fact, me a uni. Now, me were indefinite to her. Look for me, Baba, and I'm indefinite. Indeed, I can't buy 1 year, and I'm indefinite. Indeed, I can't indefinite. If I say me, this come then, na Aquano, or qualify for nationality.
Where do you have?
Or this be a thing as I qualify for nationality.
Okay. What is the here now? Okay, if I just went down to Benny, right?
Where do you have?
Oh, sorry. But I was always me a friend back. Now, compared to so if you could call back or text us to the number, I think it's gone off. Well, for a year, I'm so wait to me. Either you can call back or send us further details. Now, Uncle Ben into me more in ye are no amount. Why? 0739920848. One more for 0208123116. Using number now make not to say and say not ever boy rather than going through the 0208 number now. So 0739920848. And when you find say Alano less than 16 years, in that situation, no, then it with me.
Well, sir, Akolano, under 18,
Mhm.
the registration process, law no, very different. Or yeah, over, or yeah, 18 and above, naturalization, or different. And to say, or under 18, I did also try and say what I had 2 years.
Okay.
Only criminal conviction. Now, what for no back, apply, I a British citizen. And I say, or no apply, or particular reason I would nti ba sɛ ɔyɛ over 18 deɛ a na ɔyɛ adult so na ɔwɔ sɛ ɔyɛ naturalization ɔsɛ ɔyɛ English ne life in UK no na otua ne fee no nso nti requirements no yɛ totally different.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying, may sure something I can. Hello. When I offer, yeah. Hello. Okay. I'll pay what you make up. Okay. I'm comparing myself this question to mobility, right?
Okay.
But I know what you're saying.
Mpacho, when you're 17 years, 6 months.
17
And
half into 18.
how many years?
Onyenya 18.
Oba Kromo, how many years?
Oba, I work 4 years.
Okay, yeah, obet me, why?
Mpacho, you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. All right. Let's take another one. 0739920848. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Manyetini.
My tea is saying.
I don't. My try numbers,
I see.
I know. Okay, I've got a quick question, Pacho.
But the thing I am saying, Uncle Ben Bodin said, what can so between your bank for some of the more the waiting recommendations. Is it okay? So, what the number between your mind?
Meti, medasi, ometumi afre na metumi abom. Yo, me question. Uncle Ben Pacho, me tell you. Me question is Pacho, me go. Think yeah. My question is, me maame bi oye can I say wa oni ne kunu awari over 28 years ni but ono wo kromu ha me maame ne wo kromu ha ena ne kunu na nko wo US but na say mo ne kunu ne ba ha ena mo hira o mai fro mo hira o ma ware ne so ya fro ba ne kunu no go back to US ha ote maame ne sisi maame ne pese nka o file ma ne kunu na nka o betena ne ha kra na eja o montra agwagwa ne so na obi sa say crime ben no be because obi e keke bi edigu na so to di to me na me si o ne ye programmer e bo mo de ebisa na ono a enti no mama ne link no ti na me ebisa question amana.
Okay.
I mean, for question about also is Mr. Uncle Ben Bisa. Nikruno, nationality Ben Okuta.
Ghanian. Sorry. Me am sorry or kita US nationality.
Okay. I'll go ahead.
Well, me person me who my nationality and my nationality Ben Okra.
My team, I'm in the nationality Ben Okuta.
Oh, you're British.
Oh, British. Okay.
Okay. Well, the process the process is quite straightforward. The requirement for someone to join their spouse here through the Appendix FM route is that they're married. If the person is under 65, they have to do the English test. The spouse will have to have evidence of income of 18,600 gross. They have to show that a relationship is subsisting. Usually will be by way of communication or visits. So that's fine. Marriage certificate, 6 months pay slips, 6 months bank statement, evidence of contact and communication, proof of accommodation, life in UK, sorry, English language at level A1. I always advise level B1 because once that is done and the application is successful, you don't have to do it again.
Right. So you can call us in on 0739920848. The person whose situation was that the husband is in the US, the wife is here in the UK. I believe, as my T said, it's got a link and it's listening. So if you've got any further questions, please let us know. 0739920848. Otherwise, if somebody renounces their British citizenship to contest a public position in Ghana and it doesn't work, um, would there be any situation where the settlement application, if the person is trying to do that again, would be refused under any circumstance? Could that be refused?
Well, I mean, if you're applying to come to the UK, there are various requirements. There's what we call the eligibility requirements, which would be those that I've explained in relation to the question from Manya T. There's also the suitability requirement, and that relates to behavior, conduct. Bear in mind that if you have a public position in Ghana, there are very likely to be more inquiries about your application. And that's why they call them PEPs. PEP is a politically exposed person. And so, but on the basis that a person doesn't have any criminal conviction, coming back, if they're coming through the long residence route, it means that they have to show they've been here lawfully for 10 years. Or if they come in to join their spouse, then they go through the spousal route and they start the process all over again with a 2.5 and 2.5. Bear in mind that they want to increase it to 7 or 8 years. Or if they've got a child here, then they can come under Appendix FM, the parent route. And then again, they can do the 2.5, 2.5, 5 years and get indefinite leave. But the best way to come as if the person has lived here continuously for 10 years lawfully. And then they can go through paragraph 276A of the immigration route, make the application, pay the fee, and then they come.
0739920848. Bear with us. I had a few technical things, like we're doing some major refurbishment work, so it affects the quality. We apologize for that, but listen, we'll come back very good and make sure you enjoy it quickly as you have always enjoyed it. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Brother, good, but I'm not maybe some Bennard Nationality. We are John.
John.
Let me present me saying that my form crow because no kuma be o ha me won wa ono me brother na ye ma me oye no ono yetima ye by oye we no bisa ka say onya 5 years wo ha ndi ho no ye bo post kakra na me pese me hu se ba bia nga ye pa form no ye hu na nga ye use
let me ask you this. Why year the why don't you give it to a lawyer to do it for you rather than trial and error?
Okay. And also your father.
I don't want to be no more. What is so one
number no
there easier. I guess it's all the book company. What does it?
Matthias.
Thank you very much. Indeed, Fred. Why?
Okay, thank you.
Well, if there's any other person who would want to contact BWF Solicitors, their number is 0208-493-7340, 0208-493-7340, or 077-127-61884, 077-127-61884. We kakakra na yɛda kɔkɔ yɛ quick segment no so let's see who we can get on the line again and see if we can take about a few more calls and we draw the curtains down. What we have discussed this afternoon is how to successfully renounce your British citizenship and convert to a settlement visa. We got somebody on the line. Hello?
Oh, hi, good afternoon. My name is Mami Bedin. How are you guys?
We're doing very well. How are you?
I'm okay. Your lines are quite busy this afternoon.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I'm struggling. Anyway, you finish at 6, eh?
Yes, we do finish at 6.
Okay. Hi. I wanted to find out something. Motoka Wafansima.
But you say I.
Yo, say make it a British passport, make it a Ghana passport. Next, some case, next, main pay them make visa and see Ghana passport. Na miso pray in a British passport. No share. Imagine the claimer. Next, what's worry you? I wanna why citizens. Where you worry you want to why? What to why you make because you're na miso pray.
Okay, well, I get the gist. I mean, question yeah, mommy or visa, and so our dual nationality or the name Ghana passport no to confirm the Chico Ghana. Now, see Ghana, maybe what's it? One who put a British passport and our British nationals, yeah, if one if Ghana, now the situation be with our own kuma. Or no, where does the person fall? I traveled to Ghana with my Ghana passport. I'm a dual national. And I intended to come back to the UK with my British one. Something's happened. They're taking British nationals out of the situation. Where would I start?
Well, I mean, obviously, the only situation where the British government might not be able to help you is if there's a dispute between UK and Ghana, and you've got Ghanaian citizenship and British citizenship. But any other situation, the British government will help you. It's not what you traveled on, but it's who you are. So if you're a British citizen, I mean, most British citizens who are migrants will also have citizenship of another country. And you saw the Iranian lady who was detained in Iran. The British government did everything possible to ensure that she was released. And that is the kind of help that the British government can offer. So before, anytime I went to Ghana, I went to register at the British High Commission.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't have to do that physically. You can do that online so that they are aware of your presence in Ghana or some other country. And when there's a problem, they can always look for you. So there's a facility for all British citizens who are outside the country to register their presence online with a Foreign and Commonwealth Office, which it's normally FCO, and then they will know where you are. But the fact that you travel on Ghana passport, if there's an issue in Ghana and the British government, for example, is evacuating, once you are able to show your nationality, they will evacuate here.
Oh, okay. See, Mama, it's a question, and I'm more saying, more better than the and my macho, it's a bit man. It's a mega. Okay. I can be walking in there. On phone, or catch a kuto, sir. And yet, be a Ghana, abandon British abandon watch monsoon at Libya. More better than the why are my British nationals who will be my it's a moment for one. Ono na yɛdzi ho nkɔmmɔ ahyɛase in the program no nyina na ma no nkyerɛ mu nkyerɛ wɛ ankɔbɛ no sɛ ɛpɛ dɛ ɛkɛdi mp na ɛfiri ɛsɛ mempɛ dɛ mɛyɛ british bio a ɛbɛtumi adan wo british citizen na yɛgya na akɛdi wo mp sɛ wanyɛ yie na ɛsa na wɔakyira ndzɛma nkora na ebien bi wɔ hɔ a ɛwɔ dɛ yɛ sɛ akyerɛ kurom ha 10 years na if he apply for a settlement to be over them evidence and no chim there obetima abade 10 years on bibia aboboma why you be no prison and man kada wa ana de bia efi omani mu akete de bi better 18 months now the ono naturally break you as in article 276 no on but one article 276 book one man I renounce the if he ever wait about use with 10 years continuous residence one now, only one friend and British, through the mbra kwan do nya wo residence no nti ayekwa na eba wo hwe 10 years no wa hwe de qualifier but say entase na engu na ya ebere na sepe hwe lawyer ni papa today uncle Ben this na efi anyini nzi komo na ka kire da dem na mepɛ da me obobi so nsam kra na ebi na bi obotu fo na efi apɛda ya kwana ɛwɔ da afado eya obocho.
Now, my uncle and everybody citizenship by naturalization or any other means for whom if that means they have a number to my
Mamunka Kubo, could be said. This person acquired the British citizenship by birth. Does 276 cover here?
Well, Kweku, okay, so I'll take the opportunity to explain again because we did that at the initial stages.
Yeah.
First of all, if this person has a Ghanaian parentage, the person will always be Ghanaian, always. So I'll give Kweku your example. So if you had Nana here, Nana is British by birth, but Nana is also Ghanaian. Okay. So if Nana wants to go and be the MP for Kumewu, for example, Nana will have to renounce his British citizenship. Let's assume, for argument's sake, that Nana has never held a Ghanaian passport. But our constitution says that Nana is a Ghanaian because you are Ghanaian. Or if you were not born Ghanaian, the grandparents are or were Ghanaians. So if the person is a British citizen by birth, and they renounce their British citizenship. Obviously, because they were born here, if obviously they are adults, they would have lived here for 10 years or more. If they want to come back to the UK, they will have to either reacquire their British citizenship or apply to come here on paragraph 276A of the British nationality. You can always reacquire your British nationality. That's possible. So somebody who was born here can always reacquire their citizenship. But if you acquired your citizenship through registration or naturalization, then the process of acquisition will have to be what the law says that you go through.
Okay. But I mean, at CBO. I had to do. I know quite. I know quite. Into my kadaya had to do. More than the thing view. And when I teach you, I will hire in your British nationality through birth. You can always reapply for it, but KDMP, I would renounce. Oh, but in the no man can in our into between I. Indian senior CP bye bye. Okay, I think I will put the phones of somebody was asking if we could pick the landline. Unfortunately, we're having a few connection issues, so we'll not be able to do that. What we've been discussing, as I have reiterated to our last caller, is how to renounce your British citizenship and convert that to a settlement visa. We looked at Ghana's situation where people would want to go to Ghana and do public service, but that's certain posts that you can't contest for, or even apply for, or even hold when you are dual national. If you want to do that, then you have to renounce the other citizenship to maintain that for Ghana. And we have had two examples that were used in the discussion. One, unfortunately, is a thing in the past. One just regained a seat when he lost it in Parliament. But then, if you joined us, you realize Kobe was very passionate about the fact that there's a private members bill that needs to be looked at, and we would have to work our members of parliament to get to that and really do justice to that. Because those of us in the diaspora, we have a lot to contribute to our country. We have a lot to contribute to Ghana. I know in other jurisdictions where they also have dual nationality situations, they have a lot to contribute to their countries. And these are things that our members of parliament, our representatives in the legislature should be able to do and do for us. Myself, for instance, if I want to go and be the MP for my own small community, I may not be allowed to do that because I may hold a dual nationality. But does that mean that I don't love my country? Does that mean that I'm not patriotic enough? I don't think it is so. Well, Antoine is still here. If there's any other question you would want to pose and put to him, you can do that in the next minute before we take a break and come back to do our quiz for the week. Remember, we also mentioned at the beginning of the program the issue of your landlord increasing your rent and what your rights are and what you can do, the negotiations you can go into. I might be asking you a question on that, and I expect you to get that right. Again, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back. We do a quick summary and go into our quiz. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters watching us, we're live on TV, we're live on your social media platforms, BWTV, BWF Solicitors. We'll be right back.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws, there are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we'll get you the right results and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Well, welcome back, and we cut it straight to our quiz. But before then, I think maybe I'll give you a little clue. Again, with your permission, we're going to the quiz. Let's go to, yes, the landlord case. For a periodic tenancy that is rolling on a weekly basis or monthly basis, your landlord cannot normally increase the rent more than once in a year without your agreement. For a fixed term tenancy running for a set period, the landlord can only increase the rent if you agree. If you do not agree, the rent can only be increased when the fixed term ends. If you and your landlord cannot agree, you could ask a tribunal to decide and set a new rent for your tenancy. So my question comes in this way. Akosia is a private tenant in a 4-bedroom property paying £1,350 as rent per month. She initially signed a tenancy agreement for 12 months in 2020. When the tenancy expired, the landlord did not provide a new agreement, so she continued to pay her rent as always. In April 2023, the landlord sent her an email saying that the rent was going up by £400 in June 2023. Akosia says he cannot afford the rent and the landlord has threatened to evict her. He sent her an email with a notice of the rent increase. Now let's go back to the nugget. And I'll read something before I ask you a question. For a periodic tenancy rolling on a week by week or month by month basis, your landlord cannot normally increase the rent more than once a year without your agreement. Not more than once a year. Look at the situation. The landlord sent an email in a particular year saying that the rent is going to increase. Think about it. For a fixed term tenancy running for a set period, a landlord can only increase the rent if you agree. If you do not agree, the rent can only be increased when the fixed term ends. Now, Kusia's initial agreement was 2020, ran for an initial 12 months. It's been continuing. Now, landlord says that in June 2023, I'm going to increase the rent by £400. Huh. What can Kosia legally do to stop the eviction? Landlord says if you are not going to pay the extra £400 in June 2023, I'm going to evict you. I've sent you an email saying that the rent has to increase by £400. Akosia can refuse to pay and leave the property. She must pay the new rent because she's living in there and the landlord has sent an email. Negotiate, and if it fails, apply to the rent tribunal. Which is the answer? Is it one, two, or three? Akosia is a private tenant in a four-bedroom property paying £1,350 as rent. Tini, I see you online. Ezekiel Johnson, I see you. Nana Bob, thank you. Fred Setiamwa, thank you all there. Margaret Dumensa, you are online. Thank you very much. I think I saw somebody who was saying, said he was watching from a particular place. Okay, well, I need your answers. Isn't number one, refuse to pay and leave the property? She must pay the new rent. That is number two. Or three, negotiate. And if it fails, apply to the rent tribunal. We got just a couple of minutes. Let's see how many answers you have. Bringing who's here? Okay. Let's see. Just give it a couple of minutes because we need to do our summary. And Seth Bodu, see you. Thank you very much for joining us. Kofi Nat, back in May one. Thank you also for staying with us. I've got somebody who really wanted to call us on the line, but unfortunately, the quality of the line is so bad, we can't do that because it's quite irritating listening to the echo and everything. By next week, we would have sorted it out, so don't worry about that. Thank you very much for understanding. Akosia is a private tenant. We're talking about that. She lives in the property, pays £1,350. Landlord says that increasing it by £400 in a matter of a few months. Akosia says she cannot afford the rent, and the landlord has threatened to evict her. The landlord sent her an email with a notice of the rent increase and even threatens to evict. Akosia says, no, I can't. Landlord says, okay, if you can't, maybe I'll evict you. What can she do? What can she do? Refuse to pay and leave the property? Well, she must pay the new rent. Well, negotiate, and if it fails, apply to the rent tribunal. Well, which one is the answer? Well, first couple of minutes are gone, so I'll go to Uncle Ben and with Whoopi Adam. Yes, I see you also. Thank you very much for coming around. Uncle Ben, what can Akosia do?
Okay, so first of all, we need to understand the sort of tenancy Akosia has. If we look at Akosia, she had a fixed term tenancy for 12 months, but it expired. So if it expired, as I explained, it became what we call a statutory um, periodic tenancy. If you look at the definition for statutory periodic tenancy, it's any tenancy that is past its sell by date. The sell by date will be the fixed period of 6 months or 12 months and has not been renewed, but as tenant remains in the property, the statute will take over. So for that, we know what the law is. If we go back to the first one, the nuggets, it
Okay.
will tell us what the answer is. So it says for a periodic tenancy that's rolling on a week by week or month by month basis, your landlord cannot normally increase the rent more than once a year without your agreement. So we go back to the question. What must Akosia do? So the first one is refuse to pay and leave the property. Well, of course, that's an option for her, but if you're going to another property, obviously you're going to pay your deposit, very likely, and the rent is going to be more than what you already have. Um, you know, the second one is she must pay the new rent. That's not what I would advise because, as you know, as with everything, when we set from the initial stages, it's better to negotiate. And if negotiations doesn't work, then you have to use law. In this case, the landlord has done the right thing. If you look at it, he sent an email with a notice of the rent increase. What he didn't do right was a threat of eviction. Now that's an illegal thing, and I've always advised my clients that if your landlord threaten you, you must warn them and let them know that if they continue with that, you will have to report them. Clearly, it's playing with your quiet enjoyment. So the notice will be what we call a Section 13 notice. Section 13 comes from the Housing Act. You have to complete a Form 1. If you go on the Land Tribunal online, you can complete a Form 1. So Akusia will have to complete a Form 1. She will then send it to the tribunal. The tribunal will, list the case within 3 months, and the tribunal will make one of three decisions. The first one is one that yes, we agree with the landlord, you have to pay this. Akusia will have 20 days to pay that. Or two, we don't agree, we reduce it by this amount. Or four, no, the rent is already at a market rate because what tribunal does is to check the going rate in that area and compare it to like for like with other properties and check what the rate is. And the tribunal will always strike a balance. So negotiate, and if it fails, apply to the land tribunal. The answer will be number three.
Well, the answer is number three, negotiate, and if it fails, apply to the rent tribunal. That's the advice, and any lawyer will be sought, and with the experience and expertise of Uncle Ben, that's what the advice is. Many private renters sign up for a fixed term tenancy. For example, 6 to 12 months, your rent can go up during your fixed term if you agree. So, fixed or periodic tenancy becomes a rolling or periodic one if the new contract is not signed. A periodic tenancy, from the definition, is a legal name for a rolling tenancy with no specific end date. The rent can go up. You agree. But if you think that you can't afford it and it's being forced down your throat, go the legal way. Apply to the tribunal. The form that Uncle Ben mentioned, you can complete that and get the tribunal to do that. But don't always think that the tribunal will always say pay less. You might have to pay the going on the market. And then finally, in a couple of minutes, if you could just quickly summarize what we have discussed for us before we draw the curtains down.
So today we've discussed renunciation of British citizenship. Usually we as Ghanaians, the focus is on Ghana. So if you're Ghanaian and you're going to vie for a public position, or you're going to be appointed for a public position, we know the positions that dual nationals cannot occupy. And most people will have to renounce their citizenship, the Ghanaian citizenship. The renunciation is complete in a form online. You will then post the form to the Nationality Directorate in Liverpool. Once it's approved, they will then stamp the endorsed form. They'll return it to you with original ink. Very important. If you look at the case of Abu Sakande, he didn't have the original ink, and that's why the whole thing was fake. And that's why he went to prison. You need original ink, so you need original renunciation. It takes anything from 4 weeks to 12 weeks. And then once you've done that, you are no longer legally resident in the UK. Remember that. Once you renounce your British citizenship, unless you've got some other thing to rely on, you are no longer legally resident in the UK until you make an application. We've discussed those who've been here lawfully for 10 years, you can make an application because residents under British nationality is deemed as lawful residents under the guidance for long residents, the April 2023 edition. We know that under paragraph 276A, you can apply for long residence if you've been here lawfully for 10 years. So whether you're here or physically in Ghana, the application can be done. You do the application online, you complete a form called Set LR, you pay your fee, which is 2,300 and something. You do your biometric. If you're in Ghana, you do your biometric at Moving Pick. The decision can take anything up to 6 months. You may be able to do it premium service. Premium service will cost you £500 more, but it's very difficult to get premium service. My office, sometimes some of my colleagues will wake up at 2 a.m. looking for premium service. That is how much we love you. My advice is that before you embark on this perilous journey, always seek competent legal advice. We are here to support you throughout. We do this for our people. We work across party lines. Our business is non-partisan. We are Ghanaians through and through, and we are very proud to be community lawyers. Hopefully, we'll see you again on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Please like, share, comment, and if you don't have Facebook, go on YouTube. Let people know that BWF Solicitors is here offering the most competent advice. Thank you very much.
And with that, I come to draw the curtains down to say thank you very much to Uncle Ben for his time this afternoon. Always here to give expert advice. And remember, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, BWTV, BWF Solicitors. Today, as Uncle Ben has mentioned, we have discussed renunciation of your British nationality and converting that into settlement. Other questions have come through, and he's been gracious enough to answer all of that for us. So on behalf of everybody that's been part of the program, producer, Professor Ade, Sheila Ankara, and Pablo Dudu, and to the lawyers at BWF Solicitors, thank you for your support and research and everything that you do to bring us all the legal advice free of charge live on our various communication channels. My name is Uluku Sufipon. Thank you for being here. I'll see you again at the same time next week. Be good.
Jesus, you're my everything, yeah. My everything is you, Lord. Yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Everybody say, ah.